What's up, guys? It is Carly here bringing you day 10 of my 12 days of Christmas horror, and as you can see, the angle here is a little bit different and probably not as good, honestly, but that's honestly because I got kind of lazy. I kept setting up my laptop down here and I was just stacking it on a thing of books on a chair, and then I had to get my microphone and my camera out, the webcam. So I figured I would just make these last few videos, or I might set it up again. It's just like today I just was not feeling it, but I figured I would film these last few on my phone, possibly if I have the space, which I should. And so yeah, I mean, I like the phone quality anyway. I think it's actually pretty solid on this phone, so I figure it's not a big deal. But anyway, yes, today we are here to talk about yet another Christmas horror film, and this is another one I do not have a physical copy of, obviously, and that is because it just came out on Shudder, and it was one I was pretty curious about, and that is All the Creatures Were Stirring. I hope that's the way you say the title, but yeah, this movie came out on Shudder recently for, of course, the Christmas time. It was a Shudder exclusive, and the cover and the title interested me. One thing I love about Christmas horror movies is the clever titles and, the atmosphere and the covers, of course, but mainly the just titles that they come up with. Like, of course, you got like Better Watch Out and Santa's Sleigh and Christmas Evil. It's just, they're either very punny or they're just using a title from a Christmas song and making it, work for a creepy movie. So I really like that. It seems like a lot of Christmas horror films utilize that and utilize it well. The cover of this movie also interested me. It looked like it was going to be a creature feature type of film, especially with the title along with the cover, but that's not actually what you get with this movie. It is actually an anthology type of movie. You get, I believe, I want to say 4 or 5 shorts and, of course, a wraparound story, and it's not a very long movie. It runs about 80 minutes, and each one, of course, is something to do with Christmas. I believe they're all pretty much Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and the wraparound is just a couple out on sort of an awkward date, and they're at this small theater in a city, and they're watching a play, and I believe that what they're seeing is not what we're seeing. We're obviously seeing these short movies, and what they're watching is this really poorly done, weird, bizarre play put on by a bunch of weird people, and it's just them doing strange stuff like holding up Christmas lights and just doing a bunch of weird stuff on the stage, and everyone who runs the theater is also kind of weird, so that's kind of what you're getting. So to get into the shorts, in general, I'll just say as a general statement, I really did not care for, honestly, any of them that much. I thought they were all very much average, and, it's not that they're unoriginal or anything like that. It's just one thing that I feel like a lot of these anthology movies struggle with is the acting, for one thing, and another thing is the story just not being good enough to be a short. Like, it's like they kind of needed more time maybe to make their story make a little more sense, and that's kind of what I feel like you get with this movie. Some of them, while some of them made sense, they didn't feel complete. It felt like it was almost too short, and obviously the point of a short is to get your point across and make a good film in the time you have, and none of these really just did it for me. I thought the acting was also just very kind of bizarre and strange and a little bit forced in every single one of them, and the stories, I guess, were okay in some of them. The first one was alright. Felt like there could have just been a little bit more, maybe. The second one was probably, I guess if I had to pick a favorite, it was probably my favorite because it was the creepiest, but once again, there just wasn't too much to it. The other ones, honestly, I just didn't care for too much. There is another one that's a little bit creepy with these, like, creatures in this dude's house, but, yeah, the main thing with it is I just felt like they were all too short, and that's kind of a dumb critique for a bunch of shorts, but, there's a way to make them good. The movie VHS, I feel like, is a good example of a film where you have a bunch of little segments and they all feel like they did the job well. The acting's good in all of them. They're all very creepy and the storylines make sense in pretty much all of them. There's probably only one in that entire film that I don't really care for, and even that one's not too bad. It at least has some sense to it and some scary factors to it. This movie, however, just doesn't really do it for me. I saw some people giving it some praise, and then I saw other people saying it was just okay and average, and that's kind of why I wanted to check it out, because I felt like maybe it had potential to make my top 10 or something like that, or at least be a little higher up there on the scale. But for me personally, it was just a very average film. I guess if you're looking for a bizarre Christmas movie to check out, then maybe give this one a watch just for the heck of it. But it wasn't what I expected. Obviously, the story wasn't at all what I expected. Like I said at the beginning, I was expecting some sort of creature feature, but it's not that at all, and that's not a big deal. I'm fine with anthologies, but they have to be done well, and for me, this one just didn't really do it. So I give this a 5 out of 10. Like I said, in general, every short was very average to me, and none of them really stood out or anything like that. So 5 out of 10 for All the Creatures Were Stirring from the year 2018. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day 10 of my 12 days of Christmas horror, and I will see you for day 11.